Today, we're going to be talking about hertz versus frames per second because the TCL R625 just launched, and all you guys are asking, hey Quantum, what do I do? Do I pick this up? I mean, it's only 60 hertz. I'm really worried that I don't have the 120 hertz. To which I'll just give the short answer for more of my impatient viewers. No, you don't have to worry about it. You can pick it up because unless you're a PC gamer with a high-end rig, it's really not going to matter. Now, to look at this more scientifically, let's look at hertz. Hertz represents the refresh rate of a display. Typically, a TV or a monitor, doesn't really matter, right? As long as you're talking about display tech and you see, 120 hertz or 60 hertz, you're talking about the refresh rate or how fast your pixels can refresh themselves on that display. Now, counteractively, we look at our content. They have a refresh rate indicated by frames per second, also annotated by P. So P represents, again, your motion resolution or frames per second. So you have things like 24p, 30p, 60p, 120p, so on and so forth, right? And the idea here is, in the perfect world, those refresh rates would line up with one another. So you would have a 120 hertz display with a 120p media content, and that would just be the greatest thing ever. Sadly, in today's world, we don't have that outside of like PC and a handful of niche little options here. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when we look at companies like LG and Samsung, they have FreeSync on Samsung's side of things and GSync on LG's side of things, but ultimately that's for gamers and it's not perfect and it does have some issues. So it does have a way to go. It's new technology. And that being said, what do we do then? How do we get around this inconsistency? Well, so far only Sony has had an answer to this for movies and TV shows and everybody else really. And that's going to be their 24p auto sync function found on their 2017 TVs and TVs like the 930, even the Z9D, like older TVs, even my Sony W800B has it. And that basically would allow your TV to snap into 24 hertz and match it perfectly with that 24p signal, and it was just beautiful. Still, the best way to watch a movie today. But the reality of the situation is this. Most manufacturers don't have a feature like that. They haven't thought that far ahead for some strange reason, and we're still where we are today. Now, that being said, it's important to understand that, again, we don't live in the perfect world, right? So what's going to end up happening is you're going to have a 120 hertz display really snap into 60 hertz because that's what it usually stays in, 3840 by 2160p at 60p, right? And you're going to end up having a situation where that 60 hertz panel, because that's effectively what it stays at for the most part, is going to sync up with your 24p movie, and you're going to run into loads and loads of judder because your display is refreshing faster than your content can handle. And companies have a solution for this. It's the motion processing that some people hate. And it's going to be your motion 240, 480, 960, so on and so forth. But the reality of the situation is that is, again, fake motion put there to smooth out the inconsistencies of the refresh rates not matching up with one another. Now, that being said, it's also important to note that, again, this does have a side effect. Some people get motion sickness, and also some people are really bothered by the shimmering artifacts that happen on fast-moving objects or the breaking down of motion. Needless to say, not everybody is equal at producing fake frames, and it does have a drawback for sure. Personally though, I'd rather take whatever motion drawbacks to smooth out that judder because it really affects my eyes, but it goes from a person-to-person thing. My message is this. If you're looking to buy that brand new TCL or that Hisense or any TV from Samsung or whoever else that doesn't have 120 frames a second, don't worry about that. I would, however, worry about their fake motion number because if you have 120, that usually means that it's going to be really juddery. So be careful with that. You want a baseline of at least 240 and go from there. Typically 480 is the best. And that's just what I've noticed in my experience. 960 is a little too high, 240 is a little too low, 480 is right in the medium, and it is beautiful on every TV I've seen it have 480 anyway, which right now are to be fair, only like two, the W800B and the Hisense H9F, but honestly, motion looks really good with 480 on fake motion. But that being said, that's the only way to get around those inconsistencies right now. Hopefully, manufacturers watch videos like this, you guys share videos like this with your friends, and we're able to spread the message far and wide enough to where we can fix these inconsistencies with these refresh rates, because, I mean, after all, TVs have been around for decades and decades, and there's no reason why we should still be dealing with these issues, especially with current technology. But I'll digress. That being said, I want to hear all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching the #1 brand in honesty, and until the next video, I'll see you guys later. I want to hear